What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Dylan back here for another video. I know I haven't been cranking out a lot of solo videos, but before this past week, it was all about school, getting finals done, but now we're here. Week 16, I'm done for school for 5 weeks. We got a lot of football content coming to you, and today is solo video number 1 of this 5-week excursion. We're talking about the playoff matchups for every team. We're talking about the worst playoff matchup for every playoff contender. Note that I didn't include the Colts and the Titans in this video because although they're still contending for that spot, and you can technically lump the Eagles in there, I'm going with the 6 playoff teams as of this video. And I'm pretty sure the Ravens are going to get that 6th seed in the AFC, and I'm pretty sure the Vikings are going to get the 6th seed in the NFC. So I'm sticking with the 6 teams that are in the playoff right now. What this video is trying to entail is which teams did these teams not want to face? So if the Ravens, which team do they not want to face? The worst match that they could possibly face in the NFC. Who do the Saints not want to face? Who do the Rams not want to face? Everything in between. So we're going to talk about all 12 playoff teams, if you will, and see what the worst matchup for them is in 2019. These matchups might happen, they might not happen, but these are the ones that they definitely want to avoid come playoff time. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright, so we're going from 6th seed to 1st seed in each conference. We're going to start off with the AFC. So the 6th seed Baltimore Ravens do not want to face in the playoffs the Houston Texans. Lamar Jackson has been very good. He's been a very solid quarterback this year. I say the first or second best rookie quarterback this year. And he's doing really well. But the one thing he does really well more than anything is run the football. And I don't think the Texans are going to allow that to happen. They know that their running backs for Baltimore are not very good. So Lamar Jackson's trying to make those plays and try to create those really good first downs. But their defensive line is so solid, I don't see how Lamar is going to be able to do that. A guy like J.J. Watt's running as fast as possible. Jadeveon Clowney's athletic as hell, and Whitney Merciless at the linebacker position. I would not want to run with all 3 of those guys right there. And then if you're going to throw the balls to your receivers who, or whatever, you got to go with guys like Justin Reed, who's doing really well, Kareem Jackson, who's really good, and Tyrann Mathieu, who I think got snubbed in the Pro Bowl. So there's a lot of different weapons on that defense that's going to try to stop Lamar Jackson. And then if you go to the Texans offensive side of the ball, Deshaun Watson's going to throw that ball to DeAndre Hopkins. He's been a superstar all year. He's doing really, really solid. I just don't see this Baltimore Ravens team figuring out the solution of the Houston Texans. There's some teams that can beat the Texans. I don't think Baltimore would be the one to do so. And that's the matchup I really don't like if I'm Baltimore. So let's go on to the next one. Alright, so now we're talking about the 5th seed Chargers, and they could be the number 1 seed by the end of it, but we're just talking about the teams here in the playoffs. The team that they do not want to face in the playoffs is the New England Patriots. I know the Patriots have been struggling as of late, but I'm going to give you the facts here. The Patriots are 7-1 against Philip Rivers-led Chargers teams, which is pretty crazy to me, but history has spoken that Tom Brady knows the formula against the Chargers. He knows how to beat this team. They're a power team. They're going to have multiple varieties of ways to try to limit the defense for the Chargers and really go out there and make those big plays. If you get James White involved, that's a huge key. I don't know if the Chargers defense can do that. They're a really solid defense, especially with everybody healthy, but I think the Patriots' MO is to try to get guys like James White involved in the game, which they should do more often. And then, if you need to, go in for a clutch Edelman catch or clutch Gronkowski, who has not showed up as much lately, but I think he could have a big game against a Chargers defense. And Philip Rivers has been amazing this year. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the game, but I just think maybe Stephon Gilbert can make 1 or 2 plays that stops the game plan for the Chargers. I think that's just something they want to avoid. They don't want that history with the Patriots. So I'm going to go with the Patriots as the team that the Chargers want to face the least. Alright, so now we have the number 4 seed Pittsburgh Steelers. The team they don't want to face is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Steelers are a really interesting team. They're a wild card in all of this. It's a very weird thing to examine. But the team that I think they don't want to face the most is the Kansas City Chiefs, and here's why. When they played earlier this season, Patty Mahomes was slinging the rock like crazy. I know the Steelers' defense has gotten better, especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but I don't think they want to see Patty Mahomes thrown to Travis Kelce. I think that would be an absolute freaking nightmare on offense. Just seeing everything that they can do, even without Kareem Hunt, who was in that game in Week 2 and won't be in this scenario. I just think that the offense for the Chiefs is going to be too much for that Steelers defense to handle. I think Mahomes and Tyreek Hill would be a lethal combo, especially in the secondary for the Steelers. I think you could really throw some deep balls out there, especially with the speed of a guy like Tyreek Hill. And the Chiefs' defense is not going to be a very good thing for a guy like AB. Like, AB is going to tear them up. But it's all about the defensive line and a guy like Chris Jones who can put in that pressure. He's pretty solid, you know. He's going to be doing the work for them. He's having a great season. I think if you put the pressure on Big Ben and for him not to get those big throws to AB or Juju, I think that's the winning method. And I think the Chiefs found that winning method in week 2, and they would probably do it again in the playoffs. So I don't think the Steelers want to face the Chiefs in the playoffs. And here's the other side of the spectrum. The New England Patriots, who are right now the 3 seed, do not want to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if I had said this, if I had made this video last week, maybe I'd be pretty hypocritical in this response, but I saw the Steelers' game plan. They played really, really well. Besides the Chris Hogan wide open touchdown, they limited Brady to every single avenue that he could have. The only thing he really could have tried to throw to was his check down running backs, and he didn't even do that very often because James White didn't have a whole lot of touches. The big thing is limiting the big plays down the field. Besides that one mess up, they were really good at limiting the big throws down the field and trying to get big conversions. We thought, Gronk's going to have a big game against the Steelers. No, they double teamed him. They made sure, hell of a good job. They made sure they were trying to get him out of the game and then focus on other talent on the field. And Brady was trying his best to do so, but when you limit that kind of a player, it's really good. Like, that's pretty solid work. And I know this game would probably happen at Patriots at home, which is pretty good for the Patriots this season, but I just think the way that they had the game plan in Week 15, they keep that up. I don't think the Patriots want to see that. I think that offense had no creativity last week and didn't change anything up, and it got really stifled by how the defense for the Steelers works. So I don't think the Patriots want to see that come playoff time, even if it is at home. That's a huge test, so let's see how that goes. The number 2 seed Houston Texans, as of right now, they do not want to face the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, I think, are the hottest team in football right now. They've been able to get the job done on offense and defense and find a way to get really scrappy victories. The Texans have not had a whole lot of competition. Let's be perfectly honest here. I like the Texans, like what they're doing. They've got some really good talent, and I just praised them against their Baltimore Ravens matchup that could happen, you know what I'm saying? But I think the Chargers would just be too much of a test. I think having Phillip Rivers go out there and make those big throws, especially to Keenan Allen, if he's healthy, that's going to be the way to get it done. And then that defense, I think they're going to really force Deshaun Watson to make some very uncomfortable throws, some throws that he doesn't want to. They're going to focus heavily on getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and then, Deshaun's going to have to throw to either Demaryius Thomas or Kiki Cuddy if he ever gets healthy. He's going to have to focus on other talent other than DeAndre. I don't think they'll shut him down completely, but I think they're going to make him force these really uncomfortable throws. And I don't know if the Texans are going to be all prepared for that. So with the offense that the Chargers can bring and trying to stifle what Deshaun Watson wants to do, I think the Chargers would be a pretty awful matchup for the Texans. But you never know. But that's just, I think, the worst one that they could have here. And we're here at the number 1 seed for the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. The team they do not want to face is the Baltimore Ravens. I know that's a really weird one here. The Baltimore Ravens are the 6th seed. There's a lot of really good teams in the AFC, so why would they want to not face the wild card team, the second wild card team? Because if you watched that Ravens game, you saw that the Chiefs had some flaws that they could be working on, and the Ravens were able to expose them. I know the Chargers beat them, and this is why this could be controversial, but if you saw what the Ravens were able to do, they were trying to limit Mahomes more than anything else. They were focusing on the fact that they could limit him more than anything else on the entire football field. Their defense is what got them that an opportunity to win that game. They were very close to winning that football game. And Lamar Jackson, he made his plays against that secondary, which really has to get better. I mean, they've got to get better. I know Eric Berry's back, but man, they are just atrocious. But they were able to expose the game plan where they almost got a victory against the Chiefs and made me look like an idiot. And come playoff time, I think they can continue to do that because this Ravens defense is one of the most underrated in the game. They are top 5 in my opinion. And if they can stifle Mahomes enough and make them run with no Kareem Hunt, I think that's going to be huge. And the Ravens could pull off a massive upset. Not a massive upset, but a big upset in the playoffs if this matchup ever happens. So, it could be huge. I don't think the Chiefs want to play them. All right, now we're here at the NFC side. We're going to talk about the 6th seed Minnesota Vikings. They do not want to face the Chicago Bears. Why? Well, did you watch the first game? The Vikings offense did have a really good game against the Dolphins, and this matchup was a couple of weeks before that, but the Bears defense was really able to clamp on the offense that was supposed to be so explosive. I mean, you got Adam Thielen, who was having 100-yard games for that long stretch. They shut him down. Stephon Diggs wasn't all that good. They were able to put Kirk Cousins in big-time pressure situations, and Kirk did not deliver. He hasn't been delivering really all this season. He's been very inconsistent. He can throw for passing yards, but he hasn't been able to get those clutch moments or those great moments I'm looking for. And in this matchup, an NFC North matchup, mind you, I just don't think it really favors them at all. If their defense can help them win the game, I think that's going to be the opportunity to do so. If their defense can show up against the Bears offense, but that Bears defense is really going to make Kirk have to throw some hard passes, and I don't know if Kirk can make them. And you saw it last time. Their defense was really solid at making Kirk throw these really wonky and inaccurate passes, and I don't think I'm going to like that come playoff time. So the Vikings, they don't want to play the Bears. All right, we have the 5th seed Seattle Seahawks. The team they do not want to face is the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have been a really interesting team over the last couple of weeks, but if we are looking at the full season, I think the Seattle Seahawks do not want to face the Saints because of this. When the Saints are on, they're really, really on. They can put up a whole lot of points. And the Seahawks defense is pretty good. I think they're going to try to eliminate that run game, and I think they will. It's all on Drew Brees, but I think Drew Brees is going to be able to get it done, and I don't know if the Seahawks can play from behind like that. Can they come from behind in certain moments? Yes, but I think the Saints will be able to lay on a whole lot of points, and I don't know if the Seahawks offense is able to come back out there and retaliate enough to get a victory. I just think it's a very unfavorable matchup for them. Having to keep up with a team like the Saints when they're on is pretty difficult, and I know they're going to be able to try to eliminate that rush game, but Drew Brees is something else. I think he's going to be able to pick apart that secondary for the Seahawks, and I know Kev's not going to like that, but that's just how I feel at this moment. And the Saints defense, if they come up with 1 or 2 clutch plays to try to get Russell Wilson throw uncomfortable and throw a big-time pick, it's going to be even bigger in this scenario. So I just don't think the Seahawks really like this Saints matchup if it ever happens because of the high-style offense and maybe the defense for the Saints getting 1 or 2 big plays. All right, the number 4 seed Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I know all these photos have been in black and white, and this one isn't. There's not a whole lot of photos I could find of them, so take this one. They do not want to face the Seattle Seahawks. If you saw the game between the Colts last week, you realize that the Colts absolutely destroyed the Cowboys rushing game. The defense has been very, very good, but when they had a rusher like Marlon Mack go, it didn't really work. And the Seahawks have had one of the better rushing games all year, and they have 3 guys. Not 1 guy, 3 guys. The Cowboys absolutely do not want to see that happen again. Will they continue to try to learn from that and work on that? Absolutely. But if it had 1 guy like Marlon Mack could do it, I think 3 guys in Seattle could do it. That's something they don't want to see. Plus, we saw the struggles against them in week 3. The Cowboys just didn't have the answers. I know it was a completely different team, but they did not have the answers on offense. And they're still struggling on offense. So, can they get it done against the Seattle Seahawks defense? I don't really know. And I think Russell Wilson could find Tyler Lockett open and make that 1 big play to get that offense some points. It's going to be probably a lower scoring game, but overall, I just think if you're going to rush like you saw the Colts did, it's not going to be a good matchup for the Cowboys. That will be a bad situation. So I don't think the Cowboys want to play the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs. All right, the number 3 seed Chicago Bears, they do not want to face the New Orleans Saints. This is an interesting one because I really like what the Bears are doing. I think they're the hottest team in football. But I think the Saints could really limit them in this game. Offensively, you got a guy like Drew Brees. I know I brought up Drew Brees before. And you got a great secondary in the Bears, but I think throws over in the middle, maybe in that linebacker crew, which is still very good, could be the difference. A tight end kind of situation could be the key difference. And I think the Bears are not looking forward to seeing the middle of the field. If they can take you on the outsides, I think it can work. But a guy like Alvin Kamara as well in the middle of the field would be huge. I think that's one thing you got to stop here if you're the Bears, is looking at Alvin Kamara, because I think he could be the biggest test here on the Bears defense. And then for the Bears offense, are they going to be able to get it done? Because I don't really know. I've seen some great things, and I've seen some pretty disappointing things. And Mitchell Trubisky, a guy like Cam Jordan, he's going to come on you all day, every day. And I don't know if Mitchell Trubisky's going to be able to hold on to the pocket, wait for enough time for a receiver to get open, and throw it to him. Because I don't know. I don't know if they can hold on against that Saints D-line, because that's their best thing on defense, is that defensive line. And I just want to see him make that clutch moment. And until then, I don't know if the Saints would lose this situation to the Bears. I don't think the Bears really want to focus on this game in particular. All right, the number 2 seed Rams, they do not want to play the Chicago Bears. And here's a matchup the Chicago Bears are absolutely foaming at the mouth for. Oh my goodness. If you saw that Sunday Night Football matchup between these two teams, you saw the Bears absolutely frustrate the heck out of Jared Goff. He had to make throws he did not want to make. He threw deep shots. He was so damn inaccurate, it was terrible. Both quarterbacks were bad in this game, but the key difference was that the Bears' defense made the plays necessary to get the big dub, and Goff threw 4 picks. He had negative fantasy points. Goff does not have the answers right now because he's in a really bad struggle. He's in a really bad rut, but he ain't going to find the answers if he plays the Bears. Absolutely not. That Bears defense, that secondary, was really, getting close to the receivers like Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. They were really focusing on getting those two guys eliminated from the passing game, and Jared Goff had no answer. Todd Gurley's great, and you want to look at that, but the Bears even stopped Todd Gurley. It was his worst game all year. So the Bears clamped on the big-time players, and Jared Goff was not able to excel at the moment he absolutely needed to, and had a terrible game. The Bears want that matchup absolutely. The Rams want to avoid it at all cost. And the number 1 seed New Orleans Saints do not want to face the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan, but if you watch the Thursday Night Football game, you realize the Saints do not want to play the Cowboys come playoff time. They don't. The Cowboys defense really focused on their big parts of their offense. They're like, okay, we're going to check down on Alvin Kamara. We're going to make sure Michael Thomas does not get big yardage. If he converts a first down, whatever. But he's not going to get big plays. And the secondary came up in huge moments. And the red zone defense was amazing. Plus, a guy like D-Law against their offensive line, which has been really, really good. But a guy like D-Law, you're not going to stop 2 times, it's hard to stop D-Law constantly. And the Cowboys were able to get that done on defense. The biggest thing for the Saints and the biggest help is that the Cowboys' offense is not all that good. So if you're able to limit Mari Cooper, maybe you can get it done. But I think that Cowboys' defense is just really stellar, especially in this particular matchup. They really focused on, let's eliminate all the big things for Drew Brees, and then Drew Brees is not a mobile quarterback, so he's going to have to throw it up at some point, and he had one of his worst completion percentages in years against the Cowboys. So limiting those kind of playmakers around him is going to have to force Drew Brees to make the plays, and the Cowboys defense did a great job when they played the first time. I don't think the Saints want to see it a second time. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button. It's always very helpful for me. Comment below. What do you think of these scenarios? Do you think that these teams do want to face the other? Like, do you disagree? Do you agree? If you do, either way, comment below. Give me your thoughts, opinions, ideas, whatever you want to do in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. We've got a whole lot of NFL content with playoffs just being a couple of weeks away. We got to talk about these teams. We got to give you guys our previews, our predictions, our scores, everything in between, and all the topic videos you could ever want from both Mitch and I. You definitely want to stay tuned for more Bottom Line View content. Of course, that big old predictions video, playoff predictions video for me is coming New Year's Eve, which, I'm pretty excited for if you know me. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for all the football content coming your way, and you guys better stay tuned. It's going to be really, really solid for the next month or two. So thank you guys for watching. Dylan of the Bottom Line View. Peace out.